Hi everyone, Greg here from the Laser Channel, and I've got a bunch of these trophy labels that I need to engrave for these awards supplied to me by a client of mine. We'll start out by checking out the setup that I've got on the machine before heading into the Lightburn software. Pretty straightforward setup that I've got here. We'll pull the lens cover off with the pink string on it. That's a reminder so that I don't burn yet another hole in my lens cover. In the work area, I'm running two of the brackets bolted down, and that is so that for each of these trophy labels, I can place them in the exact same spot. And focus has already been set. I've made one of these focusing sticks. That's the perfect focus for my laser machine. This all looks good. And normally what I would run is an enclosure around here so that I don't need to run the safety glasses. But for the video, I've got that enclosure removed. So I will be wearing these when I do the filming of the engraving. This is all set. So now we can head over into Lightburn and check out the graphics that I'll be using. Let's check out what we've got here. I've got my 8 label tags that I need to make, and I'm gonna zoom in on the very first one. The graphic here is supplied by the client, and then I typed in this along with each person's name. And I grouped all of this together, and this orange border, that is a tool layer, so I can frame that out, but that will not engrave, and that's also going to help me get the label centered up underneath the laser machine. If I click on this, we're going to see that we are on layer 00, and let me double click on that. We'll check out these settings. These are going to be specific to my 50-watt fiber laser that I'm using with the lens that I have, and of course then the material that I'm using. But here's all the settings that you could use for reference. I do recommend ordering an extra trophy label that is a little bit larger to run your own materials test so that you get the perfect settings for your specific setup. So from here, I'm going to highlight everything on this first label, and I'll zoom back a little bit. And I'm going to press the letter P on the keyboard, and on a Galvo laser, that is going to perfectly center it up within the work area. And from here, I can hit the frame button. Now we've got our nice frame out, and the first thing we notice, of course, is that the framing is nowhere near my brackets for when I position work material in there. So I'm going to use the arrows on my keyboard, and I can adjust where my graphic is. I'm going to get it nested right in the corner, and that looks really good. Now these are going to go in the same spot every single time so that they all come out with the same alignment. Now peel back the protective plastic that's on this trophy label. I'll get that positioned up, and I'll turn the exhaust on, and we'll actually run the first trophy label. I'll get these on and hit the start button. Each one of these is only going to take 32 seconds. I'll turn the framing off, and we'll check this out up close. All of that clean, crisp detail, that's everything that I'm looking for. I'll set this one off to the side and get the next blank out, making sure once again to get that plastic wrap off, get that repositioned, and we're going to turn our attention back into Lightburn software. Now with this one all complete, we notice that it's no longer centered up, and I want to get the next label in exactly the same spot. So what I'm going to do is highlight this one and put it on tool layer number 2. And then I'm going to grab this next label up at the top. I'm going to place it directly on top of the one we just did. Let me zoom in a little bit. And that should snap right into place. Now I can run this as is. That blue T2 layer, of course, is not going to engrave, but I want to have that out of the way. So up in the corner here, my cuts and layers, I'm going to hold down the shift button, and that is going to select just that one layer. And now I can move that back off to the side. And now when I hit the frame button, we're going to see that it is exactly in the same spot as that previous label. Once again, I'll just turn on the exhaust fan and get the safety goggles on and hit the start button, and I'll see you in 32 seconds. We'll see if we can really zoom in on this, get as close as we can. I'll close that out, and just like before, I'm going to highlight that, put it on that blue T2 layer, And I'll just grab the next one, and this is going to be the process that I use for going through all of these different labels. I'll get that centered up perfectly. Once again, I'll press and hold Shift, select just the blue layers. Now it's going to select this other one over here. Just grab that one and get it off to the side here. And this is the process that I'll use for the rest of these different labels. So my little trick to get everything lined up for nice little batch jobs, just like I've got here today. Thanks for joining me in this short video. I hope that it helps you out, and don't forget to give this video a like or subscribe to the Laser channel. And until we meet again in the next video, learn, create, and share.